Welcome to One Girl in All the World, the Buffy the Vampire Slayer rewatch podcast where we recap each episode in order and discuss. I'm Ashley, Buffy superfan.
Kimmy, Buffy newbie.
You can find us on all major podcast apps, YouTube and Instagram, with new episodes on Tuesdays. Okay, we are back with Shadow.
Here's a fun fact about this episode. Ashley and I watched it together.
Yes, I love when we get to do that. There's a few that I really feel like even if we can't be together, we need to like FaceTime watch it together.
Oh, we could do that, yeah.
A few of them that I'm like, I have to see you watch this.
I like to text Ashley while I'm watching the episodes with like questions or like utterances with question mark /
What?
mark emojis.
What is happening?
Yes, that is me while I watch Buffy sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, welcome to the club. Okay, so we're talking about Shadow. The original air date was November 21st, 2000, written by David Fury and directed by Daniel Attias. And the synopsis is, helpful if I had it up. In order to protect her sister Dawn, Buffy must face a horrible beast that has been conjured by the powerful Glory to help seek out the key. Okay. So, we have like episode is really like not Dawn-centric, but Key-centric and Joyce-centric.
Yes, it's very Joyce-centric and Spike-centric.
I mean, there's one scene.
Oh, wait, no, that was last episode. Just kidding.
Yeah, that was Fool for Love.
Sorry.
Still got Fool for Love on the mind. Totally
I do too, apparently. Wow, okay.
Totally understandable.
Just kidding.
Yeah. So,
Joyce-centric.
Yes. So we go to start in the hospital, and Joyce is getting a
CAT scan? She's
not getting a CAT scan, though. She's getting an MRI.
That's yeah. They said it was a CAT scan, but yes, that was.
And that probably could just be chalked up to Joyce, who doesn't know the difference. A lot of people like to say CAT scan, MRI interchangeably, even though they're the same thing.
People do that? Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, we can chalk it up to either the writer wasn't paying attention or Joyce just doesn't know what the hell she's doing. Yeah. Anyway, so we see Joyce getting a scan. We'll say that. And Buffy and Dawn are
anxiously waiting
in the waiting room. So at the Magic Box, Giles has put an ad in the local in the phone book, I think. Yeah.
The Yellow Pages.
The Yellow Pages.
Do you remember those? Do you remember Yellow Pages?
Crazy.
I do remember those.
Madness. Yeah. For the last like couple years that we got them, like when we lived in Florida, we just like put it right into the recycling.
Really?
Like, I don't need that.
So you remember phone books?
Yeah.
My first job was a 411 girl, directory assistant. That was my first job. I was in high school. That was I was 16 and I got a job as a telephone operator.
Interesting. You knew all the deets. Yeah, so he's very excited about his new ad. Anya
wants to know if she
mentioned.
Why wasn't she mentioned? I mean, seems important.
She's a critical part of the experience of shopping at the Magic Box. Xander comes in. Xander, Anya, and Willow come in, and they're annoyed, especially
Xander
is annoyed at Riley for just going alone and killing those vamps because he showed up.
Tomb go boom.
So yeah, Xander is annoyed at Riley for going ahead because they showed up at the mausoleum in the morning.
The plan.
Yeah, as was the plan, and it is completely like destroyed. So they know Riley came back and did it on his own. They are still researching Buffy's mystery woman. So at this mansion, Glory, who we find out her name is Glory, because he calls her little dreg, her little minion, calls her Glorificus, and she's like, I prefer Glory. So now we have her name. Now I can call her Glory instead of pretending, like, reminding myself to call her the Beast every time. And it's so funny. They like worship her. The script writing for like the minions is so funny. Like the way I have to like compliment her in every single way, and like very
smooth skin. And
oh my god, like they're so funny when they talk to her.
They worship her.
Yeah. So he brings her this like scroll. There's a dark incantation that is apparently used to be lost. And it's a spell. And she's like, will it work? He's like, yeah, you just have to get the other items that you need for this important spell. We don't know what it is. And then she says, okay, yeah, I got a handle, because she sees the Magic Box ad.
The Yellow Pages.
So she's going to head over to the Magic Box and get her rest of her stuff.
Yeah.
We go to the credits, and we come back at Buffy's house, and Riley shows up, and he sees that the door's open. It's like a jar, which is a big red flag for anybody. Sunnydale or not. You show up to somebody's house, and their door's ajar.
What happened?
Not good.
Somebody broke in?
Yeah. So he comes in, and he finds a old tattered blanket on the floor. he hears something upstairs, so he goes upstairs, and he catches Spike in Buffy's room sniffing her sweater.
Yeah, that's weird. Yeah. Super weird.
And Spike's like, psh, 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 this is normal. This is like a predator. This is a predator thing. Like, know your enemy's scent. Mm.
Yeah, he's not very convincing.
Yeah, he's not very good at it. So Riley drags Spike out of the room, but not before. Spike sees some underwear hanging out of a drawer and grabs it and takes that with him.
So gross.
Some pink underwear.
But of course, before Spike gets thrown out, he has to bring Riley's confidence level down a notch.
Yeah, so first of all, he starts telling Riley that he spent the night with Buffy, like buying him drinks and hanging out, and you're just not her type. She likes us likes us dark, yeah, and occasionally bumpy in the forehead region. likes us her vampires, and he puts Spike out in the sun,
yeah,
like to kind of like torture him, like
But then he throws the blanket out.
But before that, he does say, I'm the one that knows what to give Buffy what she needs. And he's like, oh yeah, that's why you're at the hospital right now, giving her what she needs.
Yeah, right.
So then we find out that Buffy did tell Spike what was going on, because otherwise Spike would never have known.
And didn't tell Riley.
And didn't tell Riley. So, ooh. It's one thing to tell other people, but like tell Spike, who's supposed to be like your sworn enemy.
Yeah.
You were confiding in him late into the night, you know what I mean? And didn't tell me. And then you were at the hospital. So yeah, he says, oh yeah, I'm surprised Buffy didn't tell you about that. Like, I've known since last night. Her and Dawn and Joyce went to the hospital. So he throws Spike out, but he does throw him his blanket so he doesn't die. So at the hospital, Riley does show up and he says, I heard.
He doesn't say anything, which I think was
doesn't say from Spike. It's not the time. It's not the time and place. If he does have a problem with it, he does have a problem with it. But if we're gonna bring it up, it's not now. And they're just they're waiting for the results. So Riley goes to sit with Dawn, and Buffy goes into the room or whatever, and there's all these scans up on the light, like where they put the X-rays up. And the doctor leaves. He's like, I'm gonna go check on the status of the OR. And we're like, uh-oh. Yep. You don't need an OR for no problem.
Nope.
And Joyce tells her that there's a shadow. It's on her brain. There's a shadow on her brain, and that they caught it very early, so everything's gonna be fine. And Buffy's like, oh my god. Like, again, Buffy is trying to keep it together in front of her mom, but is scared.
Crestfallen, yeah.
Yeah,
she looks
shocked.
Yeah.
And they're gonna do a biopsy to find out exactly what it is. So at the magic box, again, still no luck finding who Glory is or what she is. And Tara comes up with the idea that maybe she's something else entirely.
Maybe she's not in the books.
Yeah, maybe she's not in the books. And Willow says, yeah, the Dagon Sphere was meant to repel that cannot be named. And she says, Tara says, yeah, like something that predates the written language. So she wouldn't be in any of these books. So that's like a big good for Tara, because that was actually a big
there's a key to them figuring
it's a big key of like who she is.
And then they're talking, and it's funny because I think it's Giles was saying, oh, like we're going in blind, there's no way to know like her habits or anything like that. And who walks in but Glory?
Yeah, Glory walks in behind him and buys these items. And Giles just brings her out and she leaves, and he's like, she could be anywhere. And he didn't realize he just sold her some stuff.
Yep.
So at the hospital, Riley covers Dawn with a jacket. She's sleeping in the waiting room, and he comforts Buffy. So the doctor comes out to tell Buffy the results of the biopsy, and it's a brain tumor.
Yeah, not good.
Which, yeah.
And they don't even know at this point if it's operable. Yeah,
it's a low-grade myoma, and that she could have symptoms very quickly, and they don't know, like, if it's operable. And Buffy's kind of like in shock. She's getting all this information and she's in shock.
And he just kind of starts asking her all these questions.
Yeah, he doesn't have a lot of, like Ben does say in a minute, like he doesn't have the best bedside manner. And this is that 1 out of 3 patients do okay.
Yeah, which is
terrible. Less than 50%, obviously. Yep. So she's very shocked by this.
Distraught. He's not absorbing that.
Yeah, she's like, and then he starts asking about cell phones and power lines, and she's like, insurance and all.
She's in shock.
She's in shock. She definitely is in shock.
Yeah.
And so Ben comes up and says, "Oh, doctor, you're needed." So he goes off, and Ben's like, "I just want to give you a break." He's a great doctor. Like, you couldn't have a better doctor, but, you know, he doesn't have the greatest bedside manner. He's not, like, catching on to this. So he says, "Go out, take a break. Your mom's going to be asleep for more hours." Yeah, several hours. Mm-hmm. And then Riley comes over and says, "Okay, she's going to leave. Like, take Dawn to school for me. I need to, like, figure out a spell or something, a healing spell to help her mom." And then Riley, she says, "Take Dawn to school, but don't tell her. Say we don't know anything yet." Because Buffy's figuring, okay, I can just, like, get a spell, fix this, and she never has to know, like, how dire it was. So Buffy's trying to fix everything. So at the magic box, Anya is looking at, like, the purchase slips and realizes, the receipts, and realizing that Giles did a bad thing. That he sold a Cole's amulet and a Sobekian bloodstone together.
She's very upset. This means someone's going to do a
Transmortification spell?
Okay.
Yeah. And that the person that would have bought, like, she's not going to, like, do, like, she would have to have such tremendous power. And those things have been lost. Like, she would have such power. And they're like, "Oh, God, that was her." Yep. Yeah. We just sold her. We sold her the stuff that she needed to do this spell. Mm-hmm.
Good job.
So, here was your question. Riley takes Dawn to a carousel, which is actually in real life the Griffith Park carousel. And so, yeah, you said, like, carnival and stuff. So, you know what? That's like a carnival ride. So
Take it.
Take it. So he takes her there, and she's having ice cream. And so the thing I said there was, like, a Disney connection to this was that the benches at this carousel is where Walt Disney was sitting with his daughters when they were on the carousel, and that's where he got the idea for Disneyland. So you said Disney, but you weren't totally off base.
So close.
Yeah. So she talks about how they rented this out for her 10th birthday party, like, basically when they first moved to Sunnydale, and that nobody showed up because she was, like, so new. So Buffy, her mom, and her just rode the carousel for an hour.
An hour straight.
Yeah, for an hour straight. And of course, this brings up feelings about her mom, that she's, like, worried. And Riley tries to comfort her.
Well, he says she's going to be okay, which I don't agree with. I don't think he should have said that. She's going to get better is what he says.
Yeah, I agree. But, like, yeah.
I know he's trying to help.
Trying to, like, put a Band-Aid on this thing.
I get it. But, yeah, I don't think he should have said that.
No, I agree. Yeah. It's a tough situation to say the right thing. But.
Yeah.
And then she says she's, like, really happy that Riley's there and that he's been really good for Buffy. She sure cries a lot less with you than she did with Angel. With him, it was like the end of the world. Every day was like the end of the world. She doesn't get that worked up about you. So Riley at first is like, "Thanks." Oh.
That's not good.
Okay. She doesn't get that worked up about me? Like, okay.
Yeah.
Just, again, he's getting, like, all these reinforcements of, like, the insecurities that he already has with Buffy. Doesn't get all worked up over you. So at the magic box, Buffy comes back, and she's unfortunately telling everybody the bad news that her mom got, and that she needs to find a spell.
Do a spell, and Giles has to gently break it to her that the mystical and the magical aren't meant to mix. And
the mystical or magical or whatever and medical are not meant to mix and Tara says that she's seen the healing spells go very wrong. Like, it can make things a lot worse. Yeah. And Anya's like, "Yeah, we don't want to make anything worse. We've done enough of that today."
Oh, yeah.
And everyone's like, Shut up.
But Buffy's like, "What? What are you talking about?
What happened?" "Oh, nothing. Anya dropped something." And Anya's like, "Yeah, I dropped something." She's like, "Okay, guys, just, like, tell me what happened." And I like how she said, Gloria came in and took some stuff that she needed for a spell. She's like, "Oh my God, how did that happen? What happened?" And he's like, "Giles sold it to her." How could I have known? Poor Giles. He's like, "Oh, yeah, it was my fault." So yeah, she's like, "Great, okay." So Giles sold her and it's from basically the Temple of Sopek. Basically, they took the Cole's amulet and the bloodstone, and they would make a living thing into something different. A different kind of thing. So that's kind of all they've gathered from this, like what she might be doing. And that she's probably making a monster.
Yeah.
That's all I know. So at the zoo, Glory is stealing a snake. Poor snake. Like, he was just an innocent bystander.
Yeah.
So and weirdly that she doesn't take the snake and go somewhere else to do
She just does it right then.
She just does it right there. Like there's like kindergarten class walking by, on field trip. It doesn't matter.
Totally normal.
Yeah. So her and Dreg are there, and they start to do the ritual, the spell, and Buffy attacks. So I guess she like figures it was going to be an animal.
Yeah.
They were going to start with, so she goes to the zoo.
Well,
so, lucky guess, I guess.
Wasn't there something earlier? Temple of Sobek was the reptile demon.
Oh, okay. There you go.
So Thank you. That's what
she went to the reptile house.
Yeah.
Good. Thanks for catching that. I missed that. That makes a lot more sense. Yeah, and her and Glory are fighting while Dreg still continues to do the spell.
And Glory's kicking some Buffy ass.
As she usually does, yeah. So she throws Buffy into one of the cases.
Yep.
I mean, what was in there?
Snakes.
They were just sitting, like, having dinner. I was like, ah! Buffy comes flying through the window. And then this snake monster just, like, bursts out of the, like, thing they had it in.
Super creepy.
So it's like a huge snake with arms, like human kind of arms, and like a snake body, and a snake top. So it just has like human arms, but it's big. And so Buffy like scoots on out of there. She's like, I can't deal with this right now. And Glory talks to it and says, find the key and come back and tell me. Like you can like sniff out the key and come back and tell me where it is. Okay, so we're back in the magic box, and Riley shows up looking for Buffy, and he says Buffy left. She went after this monster alone. It's like, yeah, well, we can't like tie her to a chair. Like,
also, what did he do earlier today?
Yeah, and Xander's like, by the way, Kettle Black, you went off and did this, and this is like one of like the best like Xander moments because he's completely in the right, and he's like tells him like, what are you trying to prove? Like, what are you trying to do? Buffy needs something she can solve, and it's not the same thing. You're right, it's not the same thing with Buffy and him, because Buffy's actually a superhero and you're not, basically. So Riley's like, hey, yeah, you're right, all right. So he leaves. And we see, Glory also said check out the holy places to the snake.
Oh, yeah.
Because I guess she figures if the monks, with the monk connection, that they might have hit it in a church. Makes sense. We have a quick scene of the snake looking in a church. And then we get back to the magic box, and Buffy calls from the hospital, and Giles answers it and says that, okay, the monster the spell worked, the monster's out there, it's loose. And then Giles says, okay, we'll warn the others, and, we'll get our weapons and everything. She's like, you need to watch Dawn. Like, get Dawn. Dawn's going to go there after school, so you need to watch her. And also, again, he tells Giles, don't tell her anything about your mom.
Right.
And Joyce is going to wake up, so Buffy's there waiting for Joyce to wake up. So then we have this montage of Riley at the bar again at Willie's. Drinking. Buffy's at the hospital. Yeah, Buffy's at the hospital. Dawn is at the magic box. And then we go back to Willie's, and Sandy goes back to Riley and is talking to Riley again. And then we also see the doctor telling Joyce her results, and she's like sad and like upset.
She looks really upset.
Yeah. And poor Buffy's face when she's sitting next to her watching her mom like find out the results. That's so sad. And then we see Riley let Sandy bite him.
Yeah. With the fork, Riley.
Yeah. Lets him bite him, and then he does stake her. But not before he lets her get a taste of him, and you can see like the blood's dripping down his neck. Like he seemed
to enjoy it. His face looked weird.
I mean, I don't know what his deal is. Yeah. And then we see the snake at the carousel real quick, and he's like, where they were before, where Dawn was before.
Just sniffed her out.
Yeah, sniffed her out, and then leaves. So then, back at the magic box, Buffy comes back to get Dawn. And then she's okay, let's go. She's going to go see Joyce so they can like tell her they can tell Dawn everything. But the snake bursts through the window and kind of like disarms Buffy, like throws something on top of her. And then goes right up to Dawn and just like looks at her. And Dawn is like screaming. Screaming. And then it leaves and it just takes off. And I think Xander says like, oh, it's weird. Why was it scared of Dawn? Because it like came in and then it left. And Buffy says to Giles, it knows. Mm-hmm. Like, obviously it knows what Dawn is. So Buffy runs after it. Giles runs after her. They jump in the car. They're, like, chasing it through the streets. And, of course, people...
trying to run away.
Yeah. They, like, right down Main Street. And, like, people are, like, cars are swerving. Like, move out of Sunnydale, people. Like, come on. Giles picks her up in his car. And then we see, we go to the mansion where Glory is mad at Dreg because she's like, why is it taking so long? The snake should be back and telling me where the key is. And it takes time, be patient. So Buffy chases the snake through the park. She jumps out of Giles's car, is running after it, grabs this like random chain, and then jumps on the
snake's back.
The snake's back and like strangles it
with the chain.
Oh, and like the CGI of her hair was like so bad.
CGI
like,
of everything was bad.
I mean, but it was worse when like
her
she's
hair
on
was
its back.
particularly bad.
She was on her back. Like it was 2000 or whatever, right? It was still 2000, right? Yeah, it's the 2000s or like the 2000. So we have to give it some grace. But yeah, that's like the notoriously like worst CGI in this whole show. I feel like. Anyway, so she's strangling it. It air quotes dies, or she thinks so, and then oops, it's still alive. It jumps back up,
punches it to death
in the mouth. So she's like punching it into its mouth, like and it has guts all over her hands.
And I feel like she's still punching it after it's dead.
Oh yeah, she's making sure that thing is dead.
She also seems to be getting some of her frustration.
Yes. Yeah, a little therapy, little violent therapy, and we see that it was very close to the mansion where Glory is. It's like it was like very close. Almost got back.
Glory's looking out the mansion window.
Yeah, she's looking out for it.
Waiting.
Not coming. It doesn't show up. So we go to the hospital, and Joyce is going to tell Dawn the results. And she says, I'll probably talk to her alone, but like stay close to Buffy. Riley's there to comfort her, and he says, like, just let it out. And like, I'm here. And he's wearing a turtleneck. Gotta cover that. And Buffy won't cry. She's basically saying if I like let go now, I won't be able to stop. And like they need me to be strong. So she can't let the floodgates open. And then she just goes back into because Joyce does call for her. Yep. And she goes in there and just closes the door and leaving Riley out there.
Riley's left alone.
Riley's just left out in the hallway.
Yep.
And that's the end of the episode.
Mm-hmm.
We flew through that one. Okay. So my favorite quote was, "What's a little sweater sniffing between enemies?" That's what Riley tells Spike. And then I said my favorite scene was when Riley finds Spike in Buffy's bedroom.
That's a pretty good scene, yeah.
It's so funny. The way like tries to play it off. And then like he tries at first, and he's like, who cares? So cares you know that I'm sniffing your girlfriend's sweater. Whatever. I don't have any shame. So yeah, that's what I picked.
My favorite quote was at the beginning when Xander, I'm gonna say, says Captain America bloated up real good.
Yeah.
That was pretty funny.
That was good, yeah.
And then I think my favorite scene was actually it's kind of two scenes, but it's like when Anya's like, who sold those two things? And Giles is like, oh. And then the scene like a little bit later on when they're like Anya's like, oh yeah, I'm so clumsy, and then Buffy's like, what really happened? And then
she rats him out.
Giles did it.
Giles. She stage whispers, Giles told it to her. Giles, I didn't know.
Anya was very funny in this episode.
Yeah, she was very funny in this episode. Yeah, it was a good Anya episode. Okay, my stake rating, 4.3 out of 5.
Okay.
And I said, Glory, all caps. So we know who Glory is. We know a little bit, like maybe about her, that she's so old she predates the written word, which is scary. Yep. And then bad CGI, that was painful. Joyce's illness is we know what's wrong with her now. Mm-hmm. We just don't know what's going to happen with it. But not good news with Joyce's illness, and that's been like since basically like the first episode of this season. So finally we're getting some answers there. Riley is on to Spike. I think Riley knows that there's like some, like I said before, tingly feelings going on. Maybe with Spike. I think he's definitely on to him, which is I think important. And that Riley lets Sandy bite him.
Riley is falling from grace.
That is like a big thing.
He's not Captain America anymore.
Like he just can't deal with. I guess
he's like Batman now.
I don't know what. I don't know. I don't know if it's like the Dracula thing, because Buffy let Dracula bite her, which was,
I mean, that wasn't her fault.
7 episodes ago.
But also that was like a mind control thing.
True, yeah.
This was not a mind control thing. This was a voluntary thing.
It was, yeah. Yeah, so Riley's struggling, and he's making some bad choices.
Yes.
So, those were like all like the big highlights, I think, of this one.
I gave it a 4.4 actually.
You gave it higher than me?
Yeah, I did. I thought it was a pretty good episode. I thought it was interesting how, yeah, they talked about the how she predates the written word and just like all of that stuff with the transmorphic
Yeah.
transmorgification, whatever. All
Yeah.
that stuff. I thought that was pretty cool, actually. I thought that was interesting. The snake thing was cool, not the CGI part. Just
Yeah.
the snake thing in
When
general was
Buffy
kind of,
wasn't on the snake, it wasn't that bad.
yeah.
But yeah.
I just thought it was an interesting, like, you got your Glory and she gets this little snake thing to do her thing, and the snake thing actually succeeded. It just Buffy,
Mhm.
got to it first.
Mhm.
Yeah, the scene with Riley and Spike was funny. I liked how Xander kind of put Riley in his place a bit.
I actually do too. Like,
Yeah.
very rarely does Xander get any props from me.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was totally in the right here with Riley.
Yep. And then just, yeah, finally finding out more about Joyce. I mean, brain tumor's not good, bad
No.
prognosis. So
Yeah, we both know from personal experience that's not
we
good.
do. Yes, we
Yeah,
both have parents, unfortunately, who've had brain tumors. So I don't
Yeah.
think this is going to end well.
Yeah, well, I guess we'll see. But yeah, it's another thing to add to Buffy's plate. Like,
Yeah, like it's as if she doesn't have enough going on.
I know. And part of me is like, Riley needs to be understanding of that there's, but he doesn't know half of it. And yeah,
No, exactly.
it's tough. It's tough.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else you wanted to say about it?
Mm-mm.
Okay. All right. We're zooming through this episode. All right. So the next episode, Listening to Fear.
Okay.
Buffy faces a brand new type of foe that we haven't seen on the show before at all. What is it?
Oh, God. So it's like a vampire, but not a vampire. So it's like a demon type thing.
It's a kind of...
Okay, fine.
It technically, I think, is a demon, but
okay.
We've never seen anything like this.
Okay, in the show or in real life?
Well, what do you mean real life?
I don't know. Is it something I'm going to be able to guess?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
Wow, we've done a lot of things. We've done vampires and werewolves and sea creatures and snakes and God, I don't know. A ghost. Wait, we did ghosts already.
Mm-hmm.
Dude. A mermaid?
Okay. I guess those water creatures don't count. That's not a mermaid. Remember the swimming team?
We did the swimming team one.
Those weren't a mermaid. Those weren't mermaids.
No.
Okay.
That's all I can think.
A siren?
Yeah, let's go with mermaid / siren.
Okay. Sounds good.
Thanks. I don't think that's right, but
we've seen weirder things on this show. Okay. All right, so that wraps up Season 5, Episode 8, Shadow. Again, you can find us on all major podcast apps and YouTube and Instagram at One Girl and All the World Pod. You can also email us at onegirlpod@gmail.com. Thanks for joining us, and we'll be back next week with Season 5, Episode 9, Listening to Fear. See you real soon.
Bye!